What's up YouTube? Jo Reptiles here with a video for you, and this video is on crested gecko breeding 101. So I'm just going to go through some of the main points and everything that you need to know about breeding crested geckos. So stay tuned, and this will be some great information for you guys who want to start breeding or who possibly want to know even more about breeding. Alright, so the first one's an easy one. You're obviously going to need some geckos. These are my geckos I have right now. First one I'm going to show you first because she's really squirmy. But this is a chocolate flame female. She's 19 grams right now, so she's still pretty small. But that's her, so that's my one female. Let her crawl around over here. My second one is this yellow Dalmatian. She is 33 grams right now. She's a big girl. Just got her at the reptile show if you watch my update video of my pickups. She's cool, I like her a lot. I haven't paired her with my male yet because I'm quarantining her. Come on. Okay, well I'll just show you the guy while I have her in my hand. This is the male. He is just a flame Dalmatian. Really cool. He's the first crested gecko I got. He's the one that is in my very first video. He's really cool. And he'll be bred to this girl here and the other girl when she gets bigger. Okay, so caging is a big thing. You're going to need one big cage for your breeding group, some small critter keepers or other cages to keep the baby hatchlings in when they first hatch out, and then if you want, you can have another cage here. It's preferred that you have another cage to cycle females to through to give them a rest from breeding during the year. So in this one, I just have the female in her right now with the lay box because she's possibly gravid. And it's a basic setup with some hides, the cork back, and the reptiledge. And then this one, which is for my breeding group, I have a live ficus in the back. You can see the gecko in it. 2 fake plants, this little Buddha looking thing, a reptiledge, and then an extra water dish. And then as I said earlier, I have these for the baby hatchlings. So caging is another thing that you want to do right. You need these crested geckos like to climb, so you're going to need a cage with a lot of height in it. So these zoom eds are good, also exoterras, and I've also seen some people take 10-gallon tanks and just turn them upright. Those all work as long as you give them height and some plants in it to climb, then that'll be good. Alright, for food, crested geckos, the good thing about them, they're pretty easy. You can use the powder form, which I use Rapashi. This is just the Rapashi banana flavor. I just put it in the Tupperware container. There's all different sizes. I think there's 8-ounce, 16-ounce, and 32-ounce bags. So that's a good option. And then there's also Pangea I've heard of, and Clark's crested gecko diet. I haven't used either of those. I've stuck with the Rapashi just because I have enough right now, and it's just the first one that I started with, and I find that the results are good with the Rapashi. And then you're going to want to offer them, with the crested gecko diet, you don't have to offer them any insects. It's already, the nutrition that they need is mixed in with the powder. But I like to offer mine some crickets that I dust with repticalcium. It just gives them a little extra vitamins and calcium, just that helps their growth better. And it also gives them a more natural food, because in the wild they're eating insects and such. But either way, you can't go wrong with just the crested gecko diet. They're both crested gecko diet, mixing it with bugs. It's both the same thing. It both gives them the nutritional value that they need. Humidity is a very big thing with crested geckos. They need a pretty high humidity, anywhere between, I keep mine between 70 and 100% humidity, just because they need that humid environment to stay in. So there's a couple different ways that you can keep it humid, and I'm pretty sure I use all the ways that I know are possible. So first is I have this little 1-gallon spray. You just pump it and it mists the whole cage. That works really good. Another thing, instead of that, just a smaller thing, I just have you can have a little squirt bottle. I just don't really like doing this a lot because once you have big cages like this, you're going to have to be squeezing for a while. And then the other thing I use is a Zoom Ed Fogger. This works really good, and if you watch my other video, I showed how I made this to split the fogger between the two tanks. And this is really good with breeding because once you get the breeding tank all fogged up, it makes the geckos feel more comfortable and they move around better, and that's how I've had my best breeding results with them. So either one of those ways is fine, but I really like the Fogger just for looks too. It looks really nice. Another one which doesn't apply to everybody, it applies mostly to the people up in the states that get pretty cold unless you have a way to keep your house warm all year round. Heating is another big thing. You don't want your crested geckos getting too cold. If you live in a state like Minnesota or Washington where it gets cold all the time, you're going to need some sort of heat source to keep them warm, although crested geckos here in California where I live are perfect at room temperature because room temperature is anywhere between 70 to 75 degrees, which is perfect for them. But like I said, if you're in a state where it gets cold, sometimes you're going to need something to heat your crested geckos. So what I have here, which I barely use, but this is just a night bulb in this Zoom Ed hood light. You could also, I guess you could put a heat pad on the back here, or on the side, on the outside of the aquarium, but that just, I feel, is going to heat up that glass too much where they are. But either way, as long as you have some heat source for them when it gets too cold. Okay, so after you have your breeding group and you do everything successfully, eventually you're going to get eggs. And the females, once they get over 20 grams, are going to lay on average about 1 to 2 eggs on average every 30 days. So you're going to have some eggs quite a lot of times out of the year, and you're going to need a way to incubate them. So there's a variety of different incubation mediums you can use, but this is what I use. I use Hatchright just because I'm lazy and I don't like dealing with vermiculite and having to have the water ratio perfect. Hatchright is already pre-mixed with water. You pretty much open the bag, pour it in, and you're good to go. And it's pretty affordable for how convenient that it is. So have a good incubation medium. And another thing is you can use either these deli trays like this, and you can just pour the incubation medium in and put the eggs in about halfway into the Hatchright or whatever medium you use, or you can be fancy, and I just like this better. These are the trays for eggs. So you put the incubation medium in here, not too much to where you just enough to where the tray can sit right on top, and then there's slots for your eggs. Put on the lid, it already has holes in it, as you can see, but you're going to want to open it up every once in a while just to circulate the air. And then the good thing about these is you can keep them separate, and you can have up to 4 different clutches in here, and you can just write when they were laid and what female to male that it was. And eggs usually hatch if you keep them anywhere, if you keep them at room temperature, where the temperature is going to be varying between 72 to 80 degrees, depending on how hot or how much more to 80 it is or how lower to 72. It's going to take anywhere between 60 to 100 days for your eggs to hatch. And once your eggs hatch, you're going to want to keep the crested geckos in a separate container until they get big enough, and then you can put them in the same container as the other crested geckos. Alright YouTube, thank you for watching. I hope this helped any of you. If there's anything I missed that you noticed, don't comment and be rude. Just comment and the suggestion that you saw that I missed, just to help the other breeders and the other people who are trying to get into this hobby, just so they have more of a knowledge. We can all combine our knowledges to help everybody out. So I hope you liked watching this and seeing my cool crested geckos. Subscribe. I'm gonna be doing a lot more cool videos more often. I know I've been doing not that many, but definitely subscribe, stay tuned, and thanks for watching.